Hey friends and family, so all of you guys have been asking me, well, I've been talking a lot about all the work we've been doing this year at the house, and we're always doing work outside. But you've all been asking me about what everything looks like, and you're like, oh, I'd love to see that, I'd love to see that. So I decided to do a quick YouTube video, probably about 20 minutes, of just some of the stuff that's been going on this year at our house and what we've been working on. Okay, so starting out in the front yard where we really haven't done a lot. All I've really done is gotten the weeds out of mostly the lower bed down here. Gets a lot of weeds. I don't know why, but it tends to be the weediest. And got some of my annuals in, the flowering pots here in front of the walkway coming up, and a few of my annuals over here. Anyway, I gotta get my tools. Okay, so coming around the side of the house, some more exciting news. I built this bed, this retaining bed along the walkway 2 years ago, and then, or 3 years ago, and then put some plants in, and they didn't work. I don't know. I'm not very good sometimes with things, I guess. Anyway, so we're doing honeyberries here this year, and they're doing really well. They've been in here for 3 weeks now, and they have resumed flowering. And yeah, I think they're gonna make it. We'll see how they do over the winter, so I'm excited about that. So let's go through the gate here. And I just got the new tree that we're gonna be putting in to replace one of the trees that's dying in the backyard. So here it is in its box, and I'm going to cut it open and we'll take a look at that. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and pop all these out. Oh, there we go. Just popped right out. Okay. Let's see if we can get this folded over. You can see some green leaves on our tree. Let's see if we can knock these things out. And they gave us a package of, I don't know, an advertisement, some coupons, and receipt, and I don't know. Oh, I know, it came with a free strawberry plant, so that's, or it doesn't feel like it has any dirt left in it. We'll open that up in a second. And then here's our tree. Is it this? Yeah. Oh wait, something's still tied down. Brought my box knife with me. Figured there'd be some packaging to get through. Let's see if we can get it out now. Alright, there we go. So this is an autumn gold ginkgo, which gets presumably up to 70 feet and lives a long time. And we'll be working on putting that into the ground today or tomorrow. So I'm excited about that. I love these little fan-shaped leaves that they have. Slow starters, they take like, I guess 5 or 6 years to get going, but once they get going, they grow really fast. And they're very tolerant of a lot of bad conditions like pollution, extremes of temperature, poor soils. They're kind of they're pretty, I mean, that's almost completely pest resistant. So perfect fit for our little town suburb area here in Colorado where it gets really crazy cold. Okay, so let's move on. Okay, so you got a pretty good look of our walk while I was unpacking the tree. Haven't done anything really there this year. And here is our rows of Sharons, which have gotten really huge. I put these in about 10 years ago. They were only a foot tall. There's 2 of them there. And they provide great shade on this side of our patio and for our little hammock. The barbecue grill is not normally there, but it's there because I've been doing a lot of work over on the other side where it's normally at. This I've been working on the parents brought us these logs that have been, these were the remnants of some of the beetle kill up in the Rocky Mountain area that we had like 10 years, 10 years ago now. Anyway, these were some trees on their property that had suffered from the beetle kill, and they brought these down, and I put them on each side of our hose basin here, and I don't know what I'm going to put in there yet. Originally I was going to use them to put strawberries in out in the sun, but then I decided I liked them better over here, so I might be putting ferns in here. But if you have some ideas, family, just let me know. Shoot me an email and say, no, you would look perfect in there is X. Bearing in mind that this area here gets no sun and no water because it's under the eaves of the roof. So, but it's right by the hose, so it should be easy to water, hopefully. Haven't really done anything over here. Again, went easy and cheap this year and tried to dump a bunch of seeds in here. There have been wonderful, beautiful, wild geraniums in here in the past, but my dogs, when I had all 3 of them, liked to lay over here and dig in here. So this year I just focused on putting everything back, trying to fix the structure, drop some seeds in here for a cheap, kind of quick, maybe they'll take root, maybe they won't, and then I'll be able to add some perennials to the seeds in the future. And then I transplanted a bunch of plants here out of a bed that I'm going to be digging up in a couple weeks to put something else in. And so I moved them over here, some daisies and some Oregonia, I think it's called, something Oregon. I probably planted it because I'm from Oregon. Anyway, and then so everything's starting to come up in here. It looks pretty. Got the fountain running again. That was a bit of a challenge. The pump I got this time to replace the old one, it's too big. Like, it's the right power, but it's just too big to fit inside there. So I had to monkey with that a little bit, which has been a real frustration. I'll have to find a smaller pump of the same power because it's working really well, other than the fact that it's just way too big. Oh, and another log that I decided to put over here instead. So let's take a quick run over here before I go to what our current big project is. This is going to be probably next year or the year after. We're going to be putting a raised bed, ground bed in here, and then maybe another stone walk to match the other stone walk that we have over on the other side of the yard. And then down here where the 2 green stakes are, that's where our 2 dwarf cherries are going to be going when those finally come back in stock. They'll probably be spread out just a little bit more because we were going to do 4 and we decided we'd rather do 2 and spread them out a little. And then here I'm getting started. I've got some strawberries going. The squirrels, for whatever reason, love my barrels. They get in there and dig big holes. They plant their nuts in there. They make beds in there. I don't know. So every year, these have had strawberries in them now like 6 times, and the squirrels toss them out every single time. So I've got cages around them this year. And in this other one in the back, I've got potatoes started with some leaf mulch on top and just a little distractor for the squirrels. That seems to be enough to keep them out of there. And be working some more on that later this year when I have more time. I dug out this whole bed. It was full of the stuff that you see coming up. I dug out about half of them to thin them out, especially the ones close to the edges of the play structure. I've been digging that stuff up. And then this is a leftover light fixture that when we took out the light in our kitchen, we had this big light fixture box. You know, they used to put those in the 80s. So it just looked perfect. I didn't know. My husband was like, we're just gonna throw this thing away. And I'm like, no, just go toss in that weedy section in the back of my yard and I'll do something with it. So small little planter box for the kids. They're planting. They've got carrots and lettuce in here and a little bit of parsley. So that's what they're working on. Anyway, some of the seeds are coming up. You can't see them right now, but their seeds are already starting to come up here. So they're excited about that. And then earlier in the season, before I could start putting stuff into the ground, I worked on this area. So you can see where the dirt is back there. Oh, and the dog poop. That's lovely. Where all the dirt is, that's where the path ended, was here at the corner of this structure. And so I had some extra flagstone from when I had the landscapers come put that in for me. And and I went ahead and extended it out this way because the dirt kept flowing in over there. And I added these, let me come over here, added the brick border to hold some of that dirt back. Anyway, and then back here is just a mell of a hess back there that I haven't worked on in a while. All the pea gravel and stuff comes in from the neighbors' yards. And so once again, I'm gonna lift these stones a little bit and try to raise the ground level enough to keep that from coming in. I don't know what to do, but that's 2 or 3 years down the road. So coming on over here, I started a little work on this. This is basically, I put some pretty hardy, slow growing alpine kinds of annuals or perennials in here, and they have started filling in quite a bit in certain areas, and in other areas they're really struggling. So I had a bunch of these rocks that my parents gave me from when they tore down their retaining wall, and I just threw those in to create kind of to stop the soil from rolling down and some shade barrier for some of these plants to help them out and give them a little more success. And then once I get those all settled and get some soil put in here, then in future years I can start putting some rock plants in here, which I've always kind of wanted to try some rock gardening, which is really good here in the Rocky Mountains. So that's again another future little play area that I can play around with. You can see the snow on the mountain or something is doing really well up front here. So let's come around this way. Let's see, 2 years ago I dug up the entire iris bed. The irises and the poppies had collided with one another, and the irises were dying and the poppies were getting choked out. So I separated them kind of and dug up all the irises in the middle, moved some to my front yard, gave a bunch away, and then tried to free up the space to let the poppies grow in the middle and then the irises on each end. The only thing I don't like about this bed is the irises don't like to be mulched, and so the dirt flows over into the path a lot and the grass gets in there. It's hard to keep weeded. So if you have ideas on what I can do to deal with the weed issue here and keep the soil in, I suppose I could put up some more bricks on the other side. That would probably help. But yeah, sure, shoot me some ideas. I'd be happy to hear. In our chive bed, I put some chive seeds in here. They're not coming up yet. They need watered. Okay, so this is our project that we're currently working on. Let's see if I can get back here. This is my very first vegetable bed, which when we moved in, this was actually a dog run. So you can see where the railroad ties are. That was the exterior of the dog run, and then it was chain link fence box inside, and then it was filled with pea gravel. And actually the bottom board is the one that was the original, and you can see it's rotting out. Don't know what I'm gonna do about that. I think I'll let them keep rotting for a little while, and then maybe I'll rip this whole area out and redo it. I would like to actually make 2 separate elevated beds here with an actual path down the middle is what I think I'd like to do. But for at least the next 5 years, I think we're gonna leave it like this. Anyway, I've got all my leaves pulled back. They're normally spread out across the whole garden. I've got them all pulled back, and we're building elevated self-watering raised beds in the background. That's what these red shelf structures are. So our idea was to get these sturdy industrial shelves. They hold up to 1,500 pounds of weight. Build the boxes, the raised bed boxes, on the top with the tops of the shelves holding the raised bed box in. So the top of the box will be at the top of those poles. They're gonna go all the way down to where the leaf holder rack is down there for my compost. And we'll just have to squish it a little bit. It needs to go another 2 inches over, and then the racks will fit in there. So the spacing on bottom, I worked really carefully. I grabbed some of my things that I store on the side of our house right now. And so mostly buckets with lids, which I spaced this out, and works really well, has plenty of space. And then these big tubs are the biggest tubs that I usually use, and I like these ones because they seem a little sturdier. But unfortunately they're really tall, so I had to raise the bed up 2 inches higher than I wanted to in order to be able to get those under there comfortably. But you know, I figured it's better to have something, you know, give a little here, give a little there. So I can still reach the tops of the beds and it'll be fine. So anyway, that's exciting. And we'll be making those into self-watering beds, which is what I'm really excited about because I'm really bad about keeping up with watering in the middle of the summer. Well, that pretty much wraps up what we've been doing for the month of April. Thanks for coming with me on this tour. It got a little longer than I expected, but I hope you guys enjoyed it. Our family at least enjoyed it. This is my first garden video, so thanks for joining me for that. And if you're my Minecraft friends, I hope you enjoyed a little bit of Minecraft Live. You'll understand probably a little better now why I prefer in Minecraft to do a lot of the landscaping, because it's near and dear to my heart because I do it at my home too. I don't know if I'm gonna make garden videos my thing, but I'll at least make one more video and let you know how the raised bed project works out, the elevated beds. So yeah, thanks for joining me, and I'll see you the next time I decide to record a video. See you then. Bye.